Can't you see it in my face? A demon living in disguise, but you can see the killer in my eyes. I've got a look you can't escape. You can't escape. No one understood the world that I was making. Look me in the face and tell me I was faking. Maybe I'm a little young, but you don't know what I've become. Can't you see it in my face? A demon living in disguise, but you can see the killer in my eyes. I've got a look you can't escape. What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake it to the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake it to the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose.
This is a certified hood classic.
Here's my bit to keeping the channel running.
Kill it anyway. To blame. Haters face the world's mistakes. Wake it to the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
Hello, everybody. It is me, the FPS Diesel. Anyway, been a minute, right? Been a minute. Feeling like my allergies are pretty bad today. Yeah, so it's been a minute since I've streamed. Two reasons. Well, we had a convention recently that we went to, that I ran over the weekend. It requires like like a day's lead time on Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday we were in like a 96-degree, fucking gymnasium basically selling coffee. Following up from that, I came home Monday and I crashed, watching the Dr. Disrespect unfold. Today is Wednesday. Tuesday, I just didn't do anything. That's on me. But now I'm here. Now I'm here. Yeah, I didn't have any of my links set up because I scheduled this stream because I wanted to dedicate myself to going live tonight. But yes, that's what the IRL stands for. I'm really late.
Draftle celebrates 5 months of membership. You think you're funny womp-womping me? Watch this.
Womp womp. Yeah. Oh shit. Draft, thank you for the 10 gifted. That was very based of you. Very based of you, very based of you indeed. Keeping the lights on. Did you see the Dr. Disrespect chess account? Yeah. We're gonna go over most of the stuff in the thread. I might get distracted by another topic that has particularly taken my interest, but we'll try and keep on topic. But we'll go through in order of stuff that's happening. But yes, I met Cloudy, Falgi, Pharaoh, Slaw, Cloudy, Pharaoh, yeah, Slaw. Okay, I remembered all of you. I don't know how I could forget, honestly. By the way, Cloudy is like really tall. She is 6'4". Very intimidated by her. Very intimidated by her presence. She could be Duncan. Is the other topic Grumps' D&D takes. I may start complaining about Grumps. I'm gonna try not to, but I probably will. Damn, bro's forgetting me. I know you weren't there, Kat. There's no fucking way I would forget. While I'm on stream, I've been informed to say that we've never made tea ever. But if we were, we would fix the circumstances surrounding tea previously to ensure the tea floweth. If we did. Okay? Link in the Discord didn't pop. I'll repost it. There we go. Try that one. Yeah. We all know what Diesel did to make the candles explode the first time. Yes. Yeah. Anyway, you might have heard a little something happened recently. And by a little something, you might have heard that Dr. Disrespect disrespected our common decency. And not only disrespected his wife, but did something absolutely outrageous. So, here, let me lay out the timeline of this here. The night before Dr. Disrespect made a statement addressing the allegations, we in the drama community, right? Yes, Rocky, we do know about your order, actually. I know about your order specifically, right? Your order will be coming.
10 months of membership. Thanks for being such a world sweetie boss.
Cloudy, you were also very wonderful. I was very flattered. But yes, Rocky, I do know about your order. Your coffee is literally like it's on the way. It is on the way. I know your order has been a while. It just so happened that we ended up in this like weird spot where we just didn't have any coffee at the time because somebody had placed a humongous order and we ended up running out. But yes, I do know. I will make sure of it. Okay. Honestly, I'll probably have packed it myself because it's either me or my brother that packs it. But that one will probably be me. I'll see what we can throw in there. Have you given up on candles? We may come back to it, but my own idiocy made it. If I order coffee, can I get a dinosaur drawn on one of my bags? I will draw a dinosaur on the invoice. Okay, but let me explain the timeline of things going on here, right? So 24 hours before Dr. Disrespect makes his statement about everything that happened, right?
Radiate celebrates 12 months of membership. Damn, a year goes by fast.
Imagine how much you've regressed in a year since being here. But we hear that there's going to be some amazing Dr. Disrespect news dropping. Now, we all knew about the post from this guy who's like completely disingenuous, right? So the guy who made the post about Dr. Disrespect was using the post about Dr. Disrespect to promote himself and had previously used his insider knowledge about Dr. Disrespect to promote his own shit, right? Going on from that, what happened is that everybody was saying soon, stuff's going to drop soon. Keemstar told us specifically, can't say it yet, but something's going to drop soon. Everybody was wondering what it was. Not even the Nicholas the Oreo knew about this drama dropping, from what I know, right? Next day rolls around, and we get the infamous tweet about it, right? Where everything officially pops off 100%. Prior to that, though, there was some funny little buildup, which I'm going to pull up now and have aged really poorly. So let me pull that up. There's also other individuals such as the Quartering or various other grifters, because for some reason in the meantime between when Dr. Disrespect got called an alleged kitty diddler and the current time where it's still alleged but it ain't looking good, a majority of the right, because of course this became like a fucking political thing, were like defending him because the something trans Call of Duty something, right? It's one of those like nonsense political arguments. It's nice to know that the great political minds of our day are very worried about things like pride flags in Call of Duty, which is like a waste of energy, but whatever. Anyway, prior to the release of the messages was this, which was not received particularly well. Right? So you got the Cody Connors thing. Cody Connors is a former Twitch staffer. Jake Lucky responds to it. A former Twitch employee has come forward and stated the alleged reason for Dr. Disrespect's permanent Twitch ban being for sexting a minor in a previous Twitch Whispers product. Right? Dr. Disrespect responds, Jake, seriously, I get it. It's a hot topic, but this has been settled. No wrongdoing was acknowledged, and they paid out the whole contract. So this is like... this is a really weird way to word this. What do you mean no wrongdoing was acknowledged? Right? Like, so nothing happened is probably a better answer to say no wrongdoing was acknowledged. That's like Dr. Disrespect and Twitch looked at each other and went, let's just agree to not talk about this and go our separate ways. That's what it kind of sounds like to me, right? Yeah, bro, all but admitted instead of fucking shutting up. Yeah, in the immortal words of me, a majority of things that happen to creators, right, could be resolved by speaking less, right? So after this happened, you know, there's a lot of speculation going on. People are making their positions, like where they are on different sides of the aisle of the Dr. Disrespected discourse, right? He had changed this back and forth like twice, including the mention of a minor. So I'm going to count this as yet another Google Doc review, which I don't know about you. I haven't been keeping count, but we got to start keeping count. But this is the first statement about the Twitch ban from the doc in any particular detail. And I have opinions about it, and we're going to get into it and kind of break this down. But there's a lot here, right? Did he not consult a lawyer? Whether he should have tweeted this or not? Well, he might have and then decided to ignore them for some reason. See, okay, I think he did, and that was like the language they used. No wrongdoing was acknowledged, right? But there's a lot that's left in the air still, right? So people have argued that Twitch needs to release the messages, assuming Twitch still has these messages, which if they do have these messages, that also presents another set of issues, which in my opinion, I do think that Twitch does have these messages. I think Twitch had gotten these messages previously because of how they were using their data collection. And I do think that is probably an issue on the basis of that there might be a minor involved in this. I have thoughts that they had arbitration and Amazon wanted to keep it out of the court system because it would have leaked, and where the no wrongdoing. Yeah, so that I'll actually expand on that later, Falgi. There we go. Okay, so the Twitch ban. Hello, I'd like to make a quick statement. Let's cut the fucking bullshit. As you know, there's no filter with me. I've always been upfront and real with you guys on anything that I can be up and front about.
Not gonna lie, I never expected us to find out the reason behind Dr. D's ban.
I honestly thought it was the fucking bathroom thing, Greg. Right? Like, I thought it was just a simple bathroom thing, and I would have chalked it up to that and never thought it was this at all. So I don't really know what compelled this Cody guy to just do it and say it publicly. But apparently for a while, this had been a growing open secret amongst Twitch elite. Destiny knew about it. Darius IRL, by the way, went to Slasher before this leaked and tried to tell Slasher, listen, I know the reason Dr. Disrespect is banned. Talk to me. Dr. Disrespect, and Slasher turned him down. It was just one of those things where it's like, it kind of seems like Twitch and journalists and everybody involved that knew about this was sitting on it. And at a certain point, I understand a journalist sitting on things, but at a certain point, you kind of have to put your foot down and kind of gauge what's like the right time to mention stuff, right? Because obviously I've been privy to, you know, special knowledge before as somebody who does the research journalism crap. And I don't want to be the guy who's like sitting on like a sex crime for years. But sometimes in order to get the full picture of the full story, you have to sit on it for a while. So gauging what the level of appropriateness is kind of difficult. Dr. Disrespect's ban has been around for a while. So the bathroom thing is where Dr. Disrespect walked into a bathroom while IRL live streaming, which is a no-no. That's a private area that you can't be filming in. And he was, so people assume that that's what he had broken the rules with. Yeah, didn't someone basically say, buy the gig if you want to know the reason for the ban? That is literally what happened. Yes, that's literally what the guy was doing. First and foremost, I want to apologize to everyone in the community, as well as those close to me, my team, and everyone at Midnight Society Game Studio. Midnight Society Game Studio, by the way, is making a crypto NFT video game using the doc as a brand, from what I believe. So that's like tough nuts. I really can't personally muster up a shit to give, but whatever. A lot of people have been left in the dark about what happened yesterday with Midnight Society and I, because the game studio and doc separated, which I think the game studio and the doc separating after an internal investigation is what made Doc talk about this, right? I think if he didn't get let go publicly by Midnight Society, I don't think he would have said anything, in my opinion. That's just me guessing. This happened in 2017, I believe. I believe it's 2017. All right. Our team is full of incredibly talented, good people that have high career ambitions and families, and I never want to jeopardize the culture we have carefully crafted. Everyone's been wanting to know the reason why I was banned from Twitch, but for the reasons outside of my control, I was not allowed to say anything for the last several years. Now that 2 former Twitch employees have publicly disclosed the accusations, I can tell you my side of the story regarding the ban. Were there Twitch whisper messages from an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. Now, this is an interesting statement. Well, first of all, a lot of this, right? So Twitch's whisper message was kind of like a direct DM connection that you could get between a Twitch streamer and a viewer. So viewers could whisper you and send you a DM if you had him open. So here he's alleging about himself that he talked with a minor in 2017, right? What the fuck? I hope my light's not dying. That was weird. Hold on, let me make sure it's plugged in all the way. All right. Just had to make sure. I don't want to like explode. There's lightning here in NYC. Maybe there's a storm outside. If the stream goes down, that means my power went out. I live in the middle of buttfuck, so you know it's a problem. Yeah, I'm gonna get to what I feel Twitch's culpability in this again. No, I actually got rid of all the flies. So what had happened is that somebody in my house left the garage door open, and because I live on the first floor, this individual sometimes opens my door, assuming that toxic fumes are getting in, and so they want the air to circulate. It's complete nonsense, right? But that's how all the flies ended up getting in, and it became like a humongous fucking issue. Now, let me answer this in the mod chat. Anyway, yeah, so Twitch had this whisper mechanic, and something that's really interesting, and I'm gonna, you know, kind of circle back to my time when I did the Yandere dev story. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. Now, you might remember that Yandere dev said during the course of our talks that he had no intentions of meeting up with the minor that he was soliciting at any point in time. That the purpose of the messages was not to bring it to a position where they would meet them, just that they were talking, right? And this is something you actually see quite a bit where they say, I didn't intend to do anything, right? I didn't intend to do anything. It doesn't matter whether or not you intended to do something or not. What matters is if the conversations happened or not, and whether or not those conversations pass a threshold that for the judicial system would find, you know, legally actionable. So the intentionality behind it holds a lot less weight than what was in the messages at all, right? These were casual, mutual conversations. Okay, if it's a minor and these conversations are going into the direction of inappropriate, they can't be mutual conversations. If these are conversations of a sexual nature, which we don't know, right? Because there's a lot of unknowns, but it's assumed that they're sexual, right? But assuming that they are sexual, those can't be mutual conversations because they're a minor. So using language like casual, mutual is not appropriate for that at all, right? These are casual, mutual conversations that sometimes lean too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. Nothing illegal happened. No pictures were shared. No crimes were committed. I never met the individual. I went through a lengthy arbitration regarding a civil dispute, which Twitch, in that case, was resolved by a settlement. Let me be clear. It was not a criminal case against me, and no criminal charges have ever been brought against me. Right? There is so much here that is very... There's so much now we don't know, right? Because this gives us a little bit, and it tells us a lot. For 4 years, these people kept this a secret, kind of weird. Well, that's what I was saying, right? It's like, at what point do you tell the public? Now, let's say I'm a journalist in esports like Slasher or Jake Lucky, and I knew about this 4 years ago. Assuming that I went around behind the scenes and I did a decent amount of work behind it, me publishing the reason why this guy is banned is going to be an amazing piece of journalism. So in my opinion, I go, well, why would I not? Right? Why would I not go and publish that? But I haven't been in a position yet where there's somebody that has like such power that I go, I can't say anything about it, right? Yandere Dev, that entire time that I was like going and trying to figure out whether or not this guy was grooming a chick, a lot of that was me. I had every intention of sharing the information at a time when I knew that I would have them. And it took 5 months, which for some people might even be too long still. But at a certain point, I got to go, well, I need to make sure that I'm keeping these contacts so I can keep getting information from them. But the way it looks like here is that the doc wasn't giving anything, and I don't know why you wouldn't share it if you are a journalist, right? It's like stuff where it's like, I get why people get on Jason Schreier's ass for not sharing the stuff about Blizzard, but then on the other hand, I also understand the need for you to stay in close contact with people who are sources from the Blizzard story, because you wouldn't want to turn around, you know, blow your cover as a journalist on their side and, you know, maybe preemptively, you know, blow your load too early, right? So it's hard, right? Hold on. There is... All right. Hold on. Let me go on Do Not Disturb. A minor shouldn't be engaging in adult conversations, especially not with a stranger on the internet. This is common sense. Yeah. I get what you're saying there, but the problem is that a minor can't consent, period, right? Them putting themselves in a situation to be groomed does not really mean that the culpability is off the groomer, right? The groomer has... all, like, that's on them, right? I agree. Internet like regulations, like for example, Twitter just started to allow porn, which apparently was against the rules, which is hilarious because that's news to me. But I don't think like maybe 16 at most should be allowed on Twitter. But there's no reason for me to go on Twitter and like see a 14-year-old's opinions, right? I know everybody makes that fucking joke, but yeah. I should have worded it better, but I wasn't putting the blame on the minor. I was just saying they shouldn't be in those conversations. Yeah. Unfettered, unregulated, unwatched access to the internet of minors is a humongous issue, and millennial and Zoomer parents need to do better for Gen Alpha in internet regulation, because we've had an entire like generation and a half grow up without any regulation, and I do think it's actually a humongous issue and an incredibly bad factor on young people's mental health. But yeah. But yeah, so there's a lot here, and getting back to it. So nothing illegal happened. So what kind of conversations were these? These were inappropriate conversations about what? Were you trying to radicalize this child into becoming a massive racist? Were you trying to groom this child? What was going on, right? And when I say child, one of the released unofficial documents that has no corroborated evidence, which means it cannot be supported as fact, which is why I'm not including it in this stream, really, is one where they said the kid was 17. We don't know that. And that email has a lot of contradictory statements to this statement by the doc. So that's why that's not necessarily what we know of as the age of this person that is allegedly the victim in this situation, right? So no crimes were committed. I've never met the individual. And again, whether or not you intended to meet up with the individual or not tends to matter a lot less. I'll talk more about Slasher in a little bit because I was sent a clip of Slasher on Hassan's stream, so we're going to watch that in a little bit. So I will circle back around to that. So another interesting thing here is that Twitch's DM service, the Whispers product, was being combed by Twitch. Now, I don't know if they were taking a specific look-see into the doc's messages or what, but the fact that they looked into these messages, pulled these messages, and then saved them for a civil suit, right, and arbitration, is interesting because that would imply that Twitch was collecting the data of a minor and then might even still possibly have a hold of that information now. So people wonder, okay, like why did Twitch hold on to this? Why didn't Twitch say anything? Why did Twitch not report this to the feds? Well, Twitch might also be in a position where they could be, like subpoenaed by Congress and then actually have committed like a crime where Twitch has to like answer with a fine for collecting all of the details of minors on Twitch, right? Which is possible and probably likely, right? I think a lot of these social media sites say they don't collect data on minors and then do. And so there is a possibility that that's happened here with Twitch and happened in 2017, which is how they were able to end up with the Dr. Disrespect DMs with this minor. That's possible that happened. Now, this isn't my opinion. I was talking with Beckett and Xylee prior to going live on stream. This is something I think Beckett said. He was talking with his co-host of Cope and Seed, Jenny, and they had come to that conclusion. And I go, yeah, that seems pretty likely. I could understand that the reason that Twitch wouldn't want this to get out because it's going to make the business look bad. And as you guys know, Twitch is constantly having problems with this sort of stuff. So it is possible that that is the case, right? Yeah, isn't gathering info from a minor illegal? Yeah. I'll say this, it depends on where and who they reported it to. If it's the feds, we can't view anything. If it's reported where Doc lives, we can probably find it out. I probably was in California. So it's Beckett's fault you're late. Beckett and I talk. I wish we talked more, but he is the co-host for the new podcast that I am teasing, but I was also talking about that. I don't think we're gonna find any of it, Nani, of this stuff. I'd say just wait and see from the people that are like big in this industry, right? Didn't the Bloomberg article specifically state a report was filed that prompted it? So I would look at the Bloomberg article, but it's behind a paywall, and I find that quite fucking irritating. I have opinions about putting news behind a paywall, but yeah. Anyway, let me continue on. Now, from a moral standpoint, I absolutely take responsibility. I should have never entertained these conversations to begin with. Now, I don't want to be that guy, but this sounds exactly like Yandere Dev. That's on me. That's on me as an adult, a husband and a father. It should have never happened. I get it. I'm not perfect. I'll fucking own my shit. This was stupid. Literally, Yandere Dev said the same exact thing. You know what? How about this? I'm going to go up and go pull up his apology that he took down. That he says is an info hazard, by the way. Yeah, use an archive site to view it. It bypasses the paywall. I think I have a plugin that bypasses paywalls, but we'll see. All right, here we go. Oh, Wait, I just noticed that my browser audio was off. There we go, I fixed it.
Made about me that I would like to address. The accusation is that I attempted to groom an underage fan of my game. I will take accountability and admit that I did discuss inappropriate topics with a fan. However, the accusation that I deliberately attempted to groom this fan is false. In this video, I would like to apologize for what I feel I should apologize for. But I would also like to give you the full story so that you know what is.
Oh my god. Let's cut the fucking bullshit. There's no filter with me. I've always been upfront with you guys. I'm willing to accept responsibility, which is why I'm here now. Okay. I can now tell you my side of the story regarding the ban. Uh-oh. That's a little close. A little close.
True and what isn't true. Let's start at the beginning. Last year, a fan of my game contacted me and wanted to chat.
Oh, wait. There were these Twitch Whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017. The answer is yes.
Usually, when a fan tries to talk with me, I just tell them that I'm too busy. But this person seemed really nice and friendly and funny, so I decided, you know what, sure, let's talk. She let me know right off the bat that she was 16, but...
They let me know that they were a minor. With an individual minor back in 2017. Okay, you knew that they were a minor. Uh-oh.
I didn't see any problem with that. When I was 16, I had online friends that were in their 20s and 30s, so it just didn't feel weird to me.
You know what's funny about this apology? It kind of sounds like he was groomed when he says that. I had adult friends when I was a teenager online. Yikes.
At the beginning, our conversations were normal, but she had a kind of adult sense of humor, and every now and then she would bring up a topic or ask a question that wasn't really appropriate.
These are casual mutual conversations that sometimes lead in the direction of being inappropriate. Bro copied Yandor does homework.
When this would happen, I wasn't entirely comfortable with it, but I rationalized to myself that it was no big deal and just kept talking with her. Eventually,
You considered it a mutual conversation, you'd say?
Must have said something that sounded like a red flag to her, because at some point she started to record our conversations just in case I turned out to be some kind of predator. She showed our conversations to a YouTuber, and the YouTuber decided, yep, this guy seems like a groomer. We need to expose him. From what I've been hearing, it kind of sounds like the YouTuber started coaching the girl on how to manipulate me into saying things that would make me look bad, which wasn't what the girl wanted. But you don't have to just take my word for it. The girl has written a statement about the entire situation, giving her side of the story.
All right, well, now this is like schizophrenic Yandor stuff, because like, as you guys remember, there was like the whole, like, they were working together and shit.
In an inappropriate direction, our discussions got pretty weird.
Our conversations got pretty weird. Uh-oh, our conversations got inappropriate.
I wasn't comfortable with it, and I tried to express that, but like an idiot, I just went along with it anyway. Because I had gotten into the habit of being really candid around this girl and just casually responding to whatever she said, it was very easy for her to get recordings of me answering questions I shouldn't have answered and discussing topics I should not have discussed. And the YouTuber then used those recordings to make a 40-minute-long video accusing me of being a groomer. Out of respect for all of the people in the world who have actually been groomed...
This is really funny now. Think about this in hindsight. Holy shit. Does Doc say anything like that in here? No, there's some gems in this one, not gonna lie. There's some gems in this one too. Let's keep reading the Doc statement. Now with all that said, don't get it fucking mistaken. I've seen all the remarks and labels being thrown around so loosely. Social media is a destruction zone. I'm no fucking predator or pedophile. Didn't Yandor Dev say that? I'm no predator or pedophile. He said something similar along those lines. Are you kidding me? Anyone that truly knows me fucking knows where I stand on those things with most types of people. Fuck that. This is so, like, internet tough guy bullshit. Like, cut this act. Cut this act. Drop the swearing. This is inappropriate for the discussion that we're having. Dr. Disrespect, the character, This is like he's pulling a Dr. Disrespect character. He might as well be whipping out a ukulele. Like if he was Colin Ballinger, he'd be whipping out a ukulele with this statement right here. Okay, because this is like incredibly like weird and out of touch and not totally like reasonable. That's a different level of disgust that I fucking hate even hearing about. Don't label me as the worst of the worst with your exaggerations. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Okay, well then you probably want to be more specific about what you're addressing right now. Because you say that you had individual messages with a minor in 2017 and that they were inappropriate. You need to explain what you mean by that, because when you see minor inappropriate conversations online, people put 2 and 2 together and go, oh, he must have been grooming them. Okay, that's what that sounds like, right? Like, let's not be stupid. Let's call a spade a spade. It makes complete sense that that's what you're being alleged against, right? Because you said you had those conversations, and then you're following it up by saying, I'm not a pedophile. Well, most of the people that end up in those situations with those words, where are they going? Might be me stream for 45 minutes. Can you guys hear me? How's it going? Are we back? Let me turn off. Okay, so I don't I don't know if this is gonna I don't know if stream's gonna stay. Okay, I did say that the power could die and that the stream would be gone. All right, so we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it going. It's nice that you're you screenshotted when it crashed, Hal. Those are fucking funny. Oh shit. Oh my god. Guys, my lights are like flickering. It is. I listened and it's like raining sideways outside, okay? Like it's fucking pouring outside. I'm a social extrovert, and you know, when the power goes out, I like lose that. I don't even have a reception where I am, right? So yeah, it's the soul of Tumac coming to interrupt my stream. Oh my god. Hi guys. Moment stream died. Oh my god, the reactors. Moment stream died, captured in 240p. uh No, because my internet is also gonna go down when my power goes. That's the problem. So you should do an outside stream in the rain, because I don't know, that'd be funny. I can't believe that just fucking happened. I'm like afraid to start talking again in case it all crashes. Okay. Which by the way, the AI generated like stream thing was saying something about how it was like Hal who interrupted the stream. Anyway, let's continue reading his post. Fingers crossed, guys. Again, if it goes down and I don't come back, then my power's just gone, and it's not coming back until tomorrow. So from a moral standpoint, I take responsibility. I'm not a pedophile. Get out of here with that shit. To my team, my community, industry friends that have supported me, I apologize and wish I could have said it all sooner. No, you wish that you'd never had to say this. Nobody says, I wish I could have told everybody that I had inappropriate conversations with a minor sooner. Nobody says that. Nobody says that. Want me to take over? You're hosting a session right now? Okay. You guys always have showed me and my family love and support throughout all these years. We love you guys. Like, I can't imagine. Could you imagine if his wife didn't know about this part? Right? Could you imagine if this is the first time his wife is finding out about him inappropriately having conversations with a minor? If any of this has made you uncomfortable, I get it. You don't have to support me anymore. But just know you have always been greatly appreciated. But trust me when I say this. So this is another, like, this entire, like, end paragraph is just like schizo, is like Colleen Ballinger ukulele. Okay, no, this is ukulele posting. All right, when an influencer makes a really weird, out of touch, strange apology that's like really like weird and self jack offy, that's ukulele posting. All right, or Ballinger posting. Ballinger posting. Yeah, we'll say it's Ballinger posting. But trust me when I say this to all my haters that live and breathe social media with zero real life experience. I don't give a fuck about you. My brother in Talos. My brother in Talos. By the 9 divines. I gotta tell you right now, I don't need to have life experience to know that having inappropriate conversations with a minor is bad. Now, if anything, I might argue that it is a something ingrained into human psychology to not have those kind of conversations with a minor. So that Paul Brothers posting is so old, and Toxic Gossip Train takes the cake, right? So it's Ballinger posting, right? But like saying I don't give a fuck about my haters with zero life experience. I don't know what life experience you need to have where it's like not like totally horrible to have. Like, I don't like, what are you expecting here? So he was acquitted of any wrongdoing and got 7 figures, but for some reason some of you still think he's guilty because Twitch says so. Lol. They've always been very translucent, haven't they? What are you smoking, crack rock cocaine? What are you talking about? He wasn't acquitted of anything, okay? There was no criminal related. It was a civil case. What's funny is you don't even know what the conversation was that you're speculating. What are you talking about? Yeah, you're right. I don't know what was in the conversation, but the Dr. Disrespect himself said that it was inappropriate. The guy in the chat is a fucking pedophile. Get the fuck out of here, you fucking schizophrenic, delusional idiot. You fucking stupid fuck. What the fuck are you on about, brother? Okay. Let me actually, like, read your argument here, right? Let me actually break it down instead of telling you to go, jump off a bridge, which you should. Because I'm not a good person, and I never claimed that I was some kind of good person. I actually quite revel in creators having their careers fall off. I almost make money off of it. I actually make a lot of money off of it, and I get to sit here and work whenever I want and sleep in, and still get to come on and then talk about how Dr. Disrespect made an oopsie, and people just pay me money to say the opinion that they all have. It's crazy, right? But so he wasn't acquitted of anything, right? So acquitted would imply that there was a criminal case involved, which you're right. There was no criminal case. No charges were brought up against it. I've brought up the reasons why I think that there's no criminal charges that were brought up previously. I think it would have put Twitch in a pretty disadvantageous position. I think there's a lot of reasons for that, many of which we don't know. But I do believe that there's a bit of corporate malfeasance on Twitch's part. Now, I stream on YouTube. There's a particular reason for that. I understand how YouTube works, and I understand the issues associated with the platform, and I understand the issues associated with Twitch as somebody who's worked in the space for the past decade, right? As a result of that, I made a conscientious business decision to leave Twitch and come to YouTube because I feel that the problems here are much better and more aligned with my personal issues and values, and I feel like I have a say here versus Twitch. So that's why I moved here from Twitch. I never once think that Twitch is somehow not culpable in this situation. I actually do think they have a lot of culpability in this situation, right? But yeah, he did get a lot of money for leaving Twitch. I think it was pretty good for his career because of the way it was projected was that he was a person who was wronged by Twitch, which is a very easy and popular talking point. And not to say that Dr. Disrespect isn't that. There's many people that were part of Twitch that ended up being kicked off of Twitch that I do think were wronged by Twitch. But whether or not Dr. Disrespect can be the martyr that leads that cause, well, at this rate, I'd say that he's not, right? You think he's guilty because something Twitch says. Okay, so Twitch didn't say anything. Cody Connors and 2 former Twitch staffers, which means that they don't speak for Twitch, are the people who alleged that he did these things. As such, there was a bunch of discourse from journalists and other people in the industry that said, yeah, we know why Dr. Disrespect is banned, and they start leaking information. So now all the speculation is going on, and at no point have I seen any confirmation from Twitch about what did or didn't happen. So Dr. Disrespect stopping the journalist and also stopping a lot of the useless speculation went and made his own post where he himself said that he had inappropriate conversations with the minor. Now, I don't know what those conversations were. Like I said, maybe he was radicalizing the person, or maybe he was doing something, completely non-sexually related. But the normal person, when they are walking down the street, holding their newspaper, reading the news, and they see the words minor, inappropriate conversation with an adult, they go, oh, pedophile. That's just what happens, right? I'm not saying that he is a pedophile. I don't know if he is. None of us know if he is. But that is what people think. That is what people think. And a lot of this is about what people think, right? That is a lot of what the industry is. There were no charges brought up because nothing happened. You're an idiot. Kill yourself in Minecraft. That's not like, it's not even an argument. No, I agree. Listen, there's a guy earlier, Daryl is being critical, saying a bunch of judgmental people trying to poach Doc's champs. Listen, man, I don't give a shit about Doc's anything. I barely even cover that side of the internet. It just doesn't interest me, right? But I agree. Tfue said it. A bunch of other people said it. If Twitch has the transcripts, which I do believe they do have, I think Twitch has them because I think they're smart enough to keep them, then they should leak. I don't know who gets them. I don't know how they leak, but I do think those whispers should leak. I am willing to sit here and say, well, I guess he's not a pedophile based on the conversations, if we know what those conversations were. Now, I'm not saying that he is a pedophile. I don't know
This
if
is
he
a certified hood classic.
Roll for performance with advantage.
I don't know if he is, but I do agree. And I think for all the speculation, we should. We should
I
know what the
donate for
transcripts
Daryl.
are. Right? I think that's a pretty reasonable thing. Exactly. You're sitting here calling him a pedophile. That's what it looks like, you idiot. I'm not saying he is. I'm saying that's what it looks like. You're stupid. You don't listen. Right? Now, anybody who is reading this post from Dr. Disrespect sees those words and goes, I think I know what conversation was had. And you know why they think that? You know why they think that, right? You remember the Drake-Kendrick beef? You remember that happened recently? What was one of the things that Kendrick alleged about Drake? Oh, that Drake was a pedophile, right? There's a lot of celebrity pedophiles. There's a lot of that going on. So, of course, people are going to put 2 and 2 together. That's just a
Haha,
normal
wouldn't it be
nomenclature
cool and
thing.
awesome if you took your shirt off and flexed on us? JK, unless, maybe a bit of oil?
See, in the time that I've been sitting here arguing with the guy who, like, is a Dr. Disrespect fan, I've made, like, fucking $15. Like, do you really think I care? Right? I think you're just being stupid. And you make an easy argument to present my points against. Which, by the way, since you made those points, I think, honestly, I made a really good breakdown just now of the timeline of things, right? But, yeah, I think we can all agree the transcripts should be released. Right? I think that should happen. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. But, yeah, that's what it looks like. It looks like he's a pedophile. I'm not saying he is one. I'm saying that's what it looks like. Dr. Kid Inspect. Yeah, in his words exactly. Inappropriate conversations with a minor took place, period. There's nothing more to argue about. Yeah. The thing is that part of this is like a discussion of people not understanding. So assuming that these are adults in the chat, which I don't believe they are, but let's say that this account that's arguing right now is, right? And also I do agree with the position of don't say anything. We haven't seen the transcripts, right? Is reasonable. I think that's reasonable.
He imagine comprehending statements.
You seem a little on edge. I've actually been edging. I'm still edging at this very moment. But right, let's explain something, because I think a few people don't understand the difference between these two things. Civil cases and arbitration in particular are not like, those are two different things. So arbitration is this. Arbitration is one party, in this case a company like Twitch, and Dr. Disrespect, the other party, walk into a room, right, with their lawyers. And there's a judge at the other end of the table, or like a retired judge, right, who arbitrates the arguments between both sides. And both sides sit on either side of the table, and they go back and forth about what their position is. Now, arbitration is decided by usually the party that has more like money, right? Because what happens is these retired judges, they get picked based on the people involved in the case, right? So obviously the company is going to want to put a guy in that room who's going to be beneficial to their causes, right? So
Here's $5 more just to flex on this disrespect defender. Get dunked on, nerd.
Thank you, QDB, that ornament, right? Are you fucking kidding me? Of course I'm getting a call. Excuse me 1 second, guys. Right? So in arbitration, the judge will be decided by the two parties, right? And generally, those companies are going to be throwing some money at the arbitrator, the guy in charge of it, right? In the middle. And the arbitrator can get paid by those companies, which is why in arbitration, a lot of the time, companies win. Now, arbitration is a different legal procedure than a civil case. When you go to a civil case, it changes, right? So now you have a court, you have the defendant, and the other one that I'm drawing a blank on the name here, and I apologize, and somebody will tell me in a second. What, right? Now, in a civil case, of course, you're going to have a jury. Usually you have a jury. And the level changes a bit, right? It's like another level of seriousness. So now the amount of evidence you need changes. And that's where the concept and term preponderance of evidence comes from. You need to be more than likely, 50% or more likely, to be in the right, right? You need to be more likely to be correct. So what that means is that like 51% on your side means you win a civil case. Now that level of evidence is higher, but not the highest. The highest is a criminal case, right? And that standard goes from preponderance of evidence to beyond a reasonable doubt. 99%. Right? So then, when it's that way, then it is on the state, the prosecution, the state, the government, the like New York State or anything like that, right? Then it's on you to, as a state, to prove that this person committed the crime, right? And this level is so high on paper, so that way we don't wrongfully accuse and commit people to crimes that they did not commit. So those are the different levels of evidence, right? So people take any form of court action as 100% proof, but the public can't really make a distinction on it, especially for things like arbitration, because those records aren't public, right? So the problem with this Twitch Dr. Disrespect stuff is that it's private because it's arbitration. So we don't get to know, right? So I understand that was a lot, but those are the different levels, right? And people often think of court as one infallible thing, but in reality, it changes on the level of action you're taking in a court, right? And the highest level of action is taken by the state. So there you go. Now, somebody, Daryl, opening yourself up to a lawsuit. I haven't said anything that I wouldn't defend in a court. I don't think Dr. Disrespect is going to waste his time with frivolous lawsuits on drama creators. We're all commenting and saying basically the same thing, right? Which again, as I've stated, it looks like he's a pedophile. I'm not saying he is a pedophile. I'm saying it looks like he's a pedophile. He had inappropriate conversations with a minor. What are those conversations? I don't know. Well, I think we would want to know, right? Because I think the normal person, and I believe that most normal people would agree with me, that those words in a sentence together do not spell anything good. And I do believe that that is a normal reaction to have to those levels of conversations that Dr. Disrespect, he himself is saying, right? Now, did Dr. Disrespect fly on the Lolita Express with Jeffrey Epstein? No, right? But is it possible that he did? Maybe. Right? Does it look like that to me, in my opinion? Yeah. And I'm entitled to my opinion as an American. I'm entitled to that, right? Now, if I got up here and said, and this is an example, not me like being truthful about it. If I knew, let's say, I'll use a fake person. Let's say if I knew Mr. Frog from Smiling Friends wasn't a pedophile, and I got on here and I said, guys, I'm telling you, I have proof that Mr. Frog is a pedophile, and I knowingly lie, that's a problem, because now I've knowingly lied with the intention to ruin Mr. Frog's career. Okay? Right? And maybe I'm doing it because I have a personal vendetta against Mr. Frog, or I dislike his opinions, or anything like that. But that kind of thing would get me in trouble. But me saying, I think this looks like that, and in my opinion, it is that, that's what it looks like to me, that's not the same thing. Right? Diesel, don't you think you're leaping to some conclusions about
This
Mr.
is a
Frog?
certified hood classic.
Ike man, I just felt like giving you money, Goblin man.
Thank you, Kim. That was very nice of you. Thank you. I honestly am doing a lot more explaining here. Like I feel really educational right now the way that I'm explaining this. And I hope that I am actually doing a good job. I do believe I'm doing a decent job, right? Okay, I've been watching too much Smiling Friends because I'm probably thinking of a different Mr. Frog. Thank you. No, you're thinking of the exact same Mr. Frog. You're thinking of Mr. Frog. Like, hello, I'm Mr. Frog. Hello. I think Nick Rekieta and Mr. Frog would be great friends. Yeah, so I know. Listen, it ain't my first rodeo, and I've been accused and threatened with legal action before. Ain't nobody's followed through with it. Ain't nobody's followed through with it. I'm not worried. All right, I'm not worried. I know what I'm doing. All right, I'm not saying anything here that I wouldn't defend myself in a court. Okay, like, yeah, as an American, yeah, fucking eagles flying, like, fuck off, like. One of the things that was really interesting for me is when I did jury duty, it mid me really understand how much effort goes in to like a criminal case. It's a lot of fucking work. Okay? You don't like you don't Better Call Saul it, show up and go, "Your Honor, my client didn't do it." That doesn't happen. That's your mind not being a lawyer or being in that industry and going, "Yeah, I know how it works." Right? There's a Dunning-Kruger effect right there. I know I am not a legal expert, right? I know these things and I know how to have this conversation because I've had it a bunch of times before, and it required me to learn a bunch of very specific things. But am I an expert? No. Daryl might be the one. I don't know. No one would sue you because you aren't worth anything. That's also true. I will admit. You'd want to, if you're taking somebody in a civil suit, you'd want to target somebody with the deeper pockets. You wouldn't go after me. You'd go after, somebody mentioned Ludwig earlier. You'd go after Ludwig. You'd go after Moist Critical. You target those people because the damage that they've done is higher than the damage I could ever possibly do. And their pockets are deeper, which means you can get more in return from them in a settlement, right? Yeah, legality and morality are separate, and that's hard for humans to wrap their head around. Yeah, just kidding. Yeah, no, but it was a good point. It was a good point that you mentioned that, right? Because that would be who, if you were Dr. Disrespect, that's who you would target. You wouldn't target me because I'm not a leader or a leader of the voice in this discussion. People don't care what I have to say, right? I mean, you guys are sitting here, right? Yeah, legality is necessary for society to run property. If morals determine our outcome, we'd all be fucked. Yeah, imagine if every single court case was determined by Twitter. Yeah. To be frank, Dr. Disrespect is the one who confirmed any rumors. Dr. Disrespect confirmed that he spoke to a minor, and confirmed that the inverse, like the conversation skewed to the inappropriate. Dr. Disrespect has said probably the most damning things about himself. I spilled some energy drink down my shirt. I'm not getting up to wipe myself. He confirmed nothing he said. Nothing. He confirmed nothing. You need like a comma there. He confirmed nothing. He said nothing happened. Get it right. That is not what he said. We'll read it again for you. All right. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? Yes, there are. Okay, so he had messages with a minor in 2017. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. So the intention and what he's burying the lead here about is that people are wondering, okay, if Dr. Disrespect talked to a minor, was he planning on meeting up with them? He's saying, I was not planning on meeting up with them, right? These were casual, mutual conversations that sometimes lean too much in a direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. So what you're hedging your bet on is the but nothing more part. But it's kind of like, okay, you're saying the conversations were inappropriate, but they weren't. Okay? And it was 4 edits in the same tweet. He's letting it all play out on Twitter, and then he'll drop a vid stating he never knew her age until after, and then stopped. Okay, so now we're gonna get into semantics and like how you should run yourself and conduct yourself on the internet. So I will actually, I think you're running meat writer defense for him right now, but I will humor your opinion right there, because you do bring up an interesting point, right? As far as I know, he edited it 3 times, right? So let's say Doc is playing 4D chess, right? He said they leaned that way, but they were not inappropriate. What, like, okay, so then what does that mean? What does lean that way, but they weren't inappropriate? Because he said, he didn't say not inappropriate. He said they sometimes leaned inappropriate. So you're just reading it incorrectly. Right? He says, quote, that sometimes lean too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more, with a comma in between, stating that the idea is separated with the comma. Okay? I'm a drama channel. I make money off of this. You're insane. Go somewhere else. Don't you have something better to do? Like, what a waste of time. You're not convincing anyone. In fact, you make me want his career to fail more. I think his career should fail more. In my opinion. Yeah, he's gonna drop a diss track and everyone will clap. Okay. So let's say he's letting it all play out on Twitter, which, by the way, I think a majority of content creators aren't master manipulators or like sociopathic geniuses. I think a lot of them are just people who got lucky or people in a position that's just a job, right? And I think that we often overplay and overthink of the intellect of these successful people, when in reality, a lot of it is attributed to success and time. You know, the more time you play on the field, the more likely it is that you can end up in the big leagues, right? So that's how you end up in these positions, right? So let's say he dropped the vid stating that he never knew their age until after. And then here's the thing. When you get to a size like his, you gotta start being a bit more deliberate about the interactions you have online with fans, right? You need to. You know, like, for example, like my server is 18 plus, right? You know, I don't want to interact with my fans who are minors. I don't want anything to do with them, really. They really shouldn't even be in these streams. I swear I'm like not a great person, I think. I don't know. I don't think I'm any more great than anybody else, really. But, you know, I think that I broach on topics that a lot of younger people shouldn't really be engaging with. So I wouldn't want to talk to those people. Now, let's say you do and you run a more safe brand. Okay, well, then you should probably know the ages of the people you're interacting with. And if those conversations are leaning to the inappropriate, before they start leaning to the inappropriate, right? Let's say you want to cheat on your wife and your doctor disrespects his wife, right? Let's say you're that guy. If you want to cheat on your wife and you want to use your fans to do it, that's fine. I think you can go ahead and be, you know, a shitty guy in your marriage. That's your right to do that. I might have opinions about that, but you're entitled to do that, right? When he uses his fame to try and get laid or use that for action, he should know the person's age before the conversations get inappropriate. He should be thinking, okay, well, I'm horny and I'm ready to have inappropriate conversations with this person that I'm getting to know, but I don't know their age. Let me stop right here. Hey, how old are you? I'm 17. You're done. You don't even begin to broach those conversations with somebody until you know their age. I think that's very reasonable to do, to not have those conversations until you know the person's age. And if you go into those conversations not knowing those person's age, you're basically just setting yourself up to put yourself in a position like Dr.Disrespect is now. We've seen this happen enough. It's happened enough that he should have known better in 2017. Okay? It's not like these things are like things that happen in a vacuum, right? And ever since that time, it's been nothing but more and more of these situations that we see come out. It's happened in Hollywood culture for years. Okay? So people should know better. He should know better. I don't think that he is going to get away scot-free if that's the case. Maybe it's a little less so. But I think a lot of people are going to not want to interact with him, especially a lot of people that he did interact with in the past. I think a lot of those people aren't going to want to deal with that. I'm starting to think Diesel is outing himself as a criminal mastermind. No, it's just because I have these same stupid conversations all the fucking time. Yeah, guys, it's okay to ghost people sometimes. Yeah, and he's too old to make that mistake. Yeah, 100% Rocky, 100%. He was too old then, and he's way too old now. He was too old to make that mistake, period. End of conversation. Okay? He should know better. He had always portrayed himself as being someone who is a responsible adult. He should just have known better. He should have done better. Right? And I understand humans are fallible, but there are some things in this world where you should be a little bit more like careful about how you act. He was aware of his fame. He knew exactly what his fame was, especially at that time on Twitch. Okay? If he couldn't handle himself, that's on him. It's not on the minor, like, at all. See, Skelly, so we don't know if he continued the conversation after learning their age or not. Either way, he shouldn't have gotten into inappropriate discussion without knowing their age. Now, it is implied based on his response. It is not confirmed, right? But it seemed like he knew that this person was a minor and that these conversations got inappropriate with the minor, and he knew they were a minor. And we don't know that for sure, right? And as time goes on, I'm sure we'll find out, right? But you should know better. You should know better, okay? I think after like 23, those kind of mistakes, you can't make them anymore, right? Or not like you can't make them, but this is like an extreme example of like you were being stupid, right? And the way he words it, it's like he's saying an inappropriate conversation happened, right? So I get it. You're like, oh, the doc is my favorite creator. Well, like, fuck, dude. The doc made a mistake, and not like a small mistake, like a criminal mistake. And then if it is that way, then that's bad. Like, we don't know if it is, but that's what it's looking like. Yeah, again, biggest thing, I am curious about who stopped their stopped their meet in 2017. Yeah. The way I see it, if he didn't know the minor's age, or if he was just being his usual inappropriate self, not thinking about the age of the person, I feel like he would have just said that. Yeah. Check mod chat. Sure, 1 second. I mean, listen, we've all had our share of, quote unquote, backing the wrong horse. You know? You think YouTube may shut him down? Well, it's funny. When like dudes like Alex Jones got like fucked over, everybody banned him at the same time. I think Doc had an issue with Discord after this all happened, and he got dropped from a bunch of things. Whether or not we start to see a more concerted effort from social media platforms on the basis of this allegation remains to be seen. I think a lot of the social media platforms, though, are kind of in the... I don't think they have to make a move on it. I don't think YouTube or Kick need to make a move on it yet. I think when more information comes out, which Kick or YouTube could turn to Twitch and be like, listen, we need to know what's in those messages. We don't know if we want this kind of person on our platform being such a big voice. They could probably get those things. So in time, we may find out. But whether or not that happens, we need to wait and see. All right. Now, one of the things that was brought to my attention was because people are asking, right? Law enforcement already reviewed the chats and found no illegal activity. Someone at Twitch said he had intentions and plans to meet up with this person. That in itself is illegal, confusing. Where's the police report? Listen, Nani's pulled up a lot of stuff, and if that's related to the email that's completely unconfirmed, then again, like I'd need to see that, right? Maybe that is the case. I haven't seen anything that says that. Vega says you wear glasses, so he trusts you. Shout out to Lord Vega, by the way. he's going through a tough time right now. I hope he's doing okay. I'm guessing it has to do with the email. I'll go read it now since it keeps getting brought up. So from that Papa Stanimus guy. We'll read it. We'll read it. Actually, I think Chud Logic posted it. Hold on. Let me go pull it up. He's a real victim. Here we go. Diesel Slasher confirmed the email as a fake, by the way. Well then. Well then, I am more inclined to believe Slasher in that regard. Yeah, it is some, like... it is literally, like, random guy emailed me type thing. Sent with Proton Mail, secure mail. Now, again, this is, like, literally a completely unsubstantiated piece of nonsense. Actually, I'm not even going to read it, okay? I will go out on I will hedge a bet here and say that Slasher is not taking a piss with this. If they did, it would have come up in a FOIA request. Yeah. It would have come out in a FOIA request. We would have had it already. We would have known this information on whether or not that did happen or not. Okay, you could, like, get all these police reports and shit. It's like public access information. You can get access to this if you go to the local PD and ask them for the information. They will give it to you. There you go. I'll pull it up. Surprisingly, and much to my chagrin, we must talk about Hasanabi now. Yeah, anyone could have written that email. The addresses are blacked out, so it's worthless. Now, I don't like Hassan as much as the next guy. Vega says he wants to know if he can make his video. Okay, Vega, I think you can make your video. Still, but... but, man, bruh. Shitty time. Shitty time. Oh, man, I don't want to... I can't stand Hassan. Let me pull it up. So Slasher calls in about 1 hour 54.
Sexual harassment, sexual misconduct, sexual assault during the Me Too movement for Twitch streamers. And then, you know, just coincidentally out of nowhere, Dr. Disrespect was banned a couple days later. I was the first person to report that he was permanently banned by my sources. And then I also additionally reported that it was not due to DMCA, which was the big thing going around because the record labels were fucking everybody over. At the time.
I put your tweet in the blast off where I say we have Slasher on for his moment of vindication as a solid gaming reporter. The famous look for several hours now. I have been told from credible sources the reason Dr. Disrespect has been banned. However, due to the importance and sensitivity around the subject, I have refrained from going on it. I don't feel comfortable with it currently.
Thanks, man. So that tweet ended up
I don't have to stand him. I watch him
was
muted.
Still,
I think he's a handsome guy. Yeah, I'll say that. I'll give Hassan that. Yeah, I think he's a handsome guy. I don't fuck with the. Was he got puka shells on? I don't fuck with that though. No. We need to throw those out. No. That's my hard no. We don't go. Ladies, you don't mess with a man who wears puka shells. Okay.
in the way that I worded it, yeah, I was not comfortable because everything that I was hearing was secondhand sources. Nothing that I could use as a journalist to professionally report something, which you always need at least two primary sources, and usually you want documentation to prove what you had. I did not have that. I was going off things that I quote unquote knew to be true, but I could not prove at the time, and I should have never made the tweet to begin with. That led me afterwards. So afterwards, I didn't say anything. I did not do speculation because I knew I already fucked up and I did not want to go further. I did do some reporting, which I tried to give hints to people. Like I reported that Discord had been.
I know this man from watching him crush a watermelon between his thighs. Just so everyone knows, I can do that too. Okay, Hal. Just so you know, I can do that. Just in case you want to know, I can do that.
Him first. I reported that YouTube was not going to be giving him a contract and that it was not a contract dispute. One of the biggest theories back then was that like Twitch fucked him over in a contract dispute. I did do reporting back then to try to accurately represent what was happening, but because of my original stupid tweet, no one was believing me. I ruined my reputation and essentially my career because of this tweet, and that put me into extreme depression and was
Slasher. There's no Rod. You don't need to be talking about this right now. Don't do this. Why are you mentioning that, Rod? Don't mention that. What are you saying? Why do you mention that at all?
Go on. Prove the watermelon thing.
You've got to do it now and prove it. Go out and buy a watermelon. Yeah, sure.
one of the most significant reasons I left the internet for basically 2.5 years, and I did.
Okay, so another fun fact about Slasher Rod Breslau, he got exposed a while ago of being like a nice guy Andy.
Prove it, no balls.
He was doing like the like I'm an ally, crumb of pussy type thing from what I remember. This is from what I remember, in my opinion, right? So I might not be able to remember it correctly. But he like was struggling with women online, and he was trying to hit on like e-girl type people. I think he tried it with Brittany Venti. Brittany Venti like leaked his DMs, and like he was like popping off. So he had a bit of like a meltdown. And so that's why he left, from what I remember, right? Or that was part of it. Did you see the FaZe Clan member admitting he DM'd a minor? Yeah. Oh god.
In a wet t-shirt, do it, no balls.
Strictly in terms of appearance, Hassan is more my type than Diesel. Thanks. Well,
Here's $5 for that watermelon. Make sure it's a big one.
Release the DMs? No, I don't have any DMs. Here, just hit play on that clip. Yes, I was messaging a minor.
oh god. What?
Release the DMs? No, I don't have any DMs. Yes,
okay,
I was.
Okay, no, it's not.
What?
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. Listen, it's not. I gotta get ahead of this. It's not what it looks like. I promise you, it's not what it looks like.
What minor were you messaging?
I wasn't messaging a minor.
Why did you say that?
No, I was talking.
No, I wasn't messaging a minor. I was messaging a miner, as in the coal mines, okay?
Something watermelon.
Hassan versus Diesel, who would win? I think Hassan's got like a good few feet on me. I think he'd win, honestly, unironically. I know a lot of guys are like, oh, I could take anybody. Listen, I'm not an idiot, okay? I'm smart enough to know that some motherfuckers would kick my ass, or it would be a really tough fucking fight, all right?
I was talking about Dr. Disrespect.
But you just said I was messaging a minor.
No.
And then when someone said to release the DMs, you said there are no DMs, which means you deleted them.
It's just a really bad web of so I literally look at
Why is this like, I've never seen somebody like stick their foot in their mouth. Holy shit, that's so bad. I had heard about it. I didn't watch the clip, but that's brilliant. Yeah, if you're Slasher join and explain a lot of stuff at the timeline events since 2017, why people haven't officially reported this stuff till now. Okay. So yeah, let's get back to Rod. It's just some phase guy. It's just some phase guy that was. What about in a debate? There's a reason Hassan doesn't debate anymore. And I think it's because he's not particularly good at it. He's very rusty, and you get better at debates the more you do them. And Hassan has kind of like avoided a lot of that, or really dealt with people who aren't like debate Andes, so he's not particularly great at it.
Did not tweet. I did not do anything.
I could even if I agreed with Hassan on a point, I think that I could deliberately take a contrarian viewpoint to Hassan's and beat him in a debate. That's what I think.
Shitty that everything had transpired.
Please look at your Discord. I just started sharing my screen with you because Mr. President, a second Nick Merckx tweet/video has hit the World Trade Center as of this moment. This is fresh off the presses, directly at the top of the hour. There's a 3-minute ad break. I'm going to run it right now. Sorry, guys. Contractual obligations. If you no longer want to see those ads, you have to subscribe for $5 or for free with Twitch Prime. Here's the 3-minute ad break now.
Guys, would it be really funny if I ran an ad break right now? Would it be really funny if I ran an ad break? I could insert an ad right now, guys. I could do it. I could play an ad right now. I'm so sorry. That was so fucked up. Listen, I don't care if you guys run ad blocker anyway. Whatever. I don't fucking care. I do it. Joke's on you. I got YouTube Premium. I wish YouTube Premium worked more like Twitch Prime.
Sure.
I'm ready to watch this.
I feel like this was a second tweet. A second tweet has hit the Twitter timeline. 55 seconds. Uh-oh. And he's shirtless and he's outside in the glorious Florida sun. Let's see what he has to say.
Yo, checking in. I'm seeing everything on Twitter, and I read through Doc's tweet, and in that very tweet, he basically confirms that, you know, he was texting an underage girl, and it went weird sometimes, you know, and look, just to be blunt and straightforward, man, that's inexcusable. It's unacceptable, right? There's no excuse for something like that, and I can't support it.
He's like,
hang on, honey.
You know, like when he's like a lion or like a fucking like bird, like just in the sun, just being like, yeah, you know, like the way he's moving, his body is like he's moving like he's like some fucking flamingo or something.
It would be even funnier if you grabbed a watermelon right now.
I would if I had, but I don't. But I will.
I'm talking to Twitter. I can't support it. I can't defend it. And look, the boys and I are torn up over it too, man, because we played a lot of games with the guy, and it feels a little weird. But what can you do, you know? So I just wanted to update you guys on my thoughts and how I'm feeling. And I mean, look, I hope you guys have a good day, all right?
So what will Dr. Disrespect's dick riders do now when MFam has seemingly dropped Mr. Disrespect himself?
I'm going to be honest, that was actually more of a stand-up video than I thought he would
Yeah,
make.
I honestly thought that video would be much worse. I agree. I thought it would be much worse. I was expecting something horrendous, but it was just like a reasonable video, honestly. Where he's just disavowing, like, I can't really front him on that.
He did even insult trans people.
Yeah, he didn't say
As
like,
a side note for a whole minute.
Yeah, you know who's really actually scary for the children? Trans people, random trans people that I suspect are bad. He didn't do
Did you hear about how Kodiko had dated Tana Mojo, however you spell her name, but she was a minor and he was 25? Yeah, so that allegation comes out like every year from Tana, and not once is it ever taken seriously. I don't know why. There's probably a reason for that, but I have heard about it.
The over-under, I would have picked the under. I did not think that would happen.
Bro, what is going on with this angle? What is happening with all of the Doc's closest friends?
Why are they all shirtless?
Always shirtless.
At what point in my like adult man life do I just start walking around in my backyard shirtless? When does that happen? Does that happen like after you have your first kid? Does that become you?
Video as well that just landed on the timeline. Literally, what the fuck is like 2 minutes? They're in a group chat, I think. What is going on? Okay, all right, we'll watch this as well.
Wow, this is absolutely insane, bro. Everything I'm seeing. I have known Doc for a while now. We've played games for years. And
when men become grillers.
Seeing everything that is spiraling right now is a very difficult
All right,
thing
listen,
for
I had
me
planned
personally.
to go live tonight way before Nicholas the Oreo. Okay, but then I saw that he was going live, and I'm like, ah, fuck, the Oreo's going live about the same shit.
And I'm sure for a lot of y'all out there. I think for me, I know a lot of you are asking, Tim, what are you feeling? Tim, what are you feeling? My bottom line, I think, is if what he is saying, where he said that he was messaging a minor and it would sometimes lead to teeter on inappropriate.
This is actually a good notice how they're not friends, but both said played games for a while. That's actually
Yeah, they're disavowing. That's I'm saving my career. That's what that statement is.
I mean, the boys are torn over this. We played games for a while. They both said that they're distancing themselves a little bit from Dr. Disrespect, even in this conversation, beyond the fact that they're like also openly being like, nah, this is fucking ridiculous.
If he knew that was a minor and those were the messages being sent, I cannot support that. I can't. I appreciate y'all. This is beating me up, but.
What do you mean if, bro? He literally said it. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know what are in the
Dr. Disrespect
messages.
character is dead after today.
Like, we don't know what are in the messages. All right, I wouldn't be so far as to start being concrete with the things I'm saying. Like I said, maybe he could be, he could not be. In my opinion, like you gotta be frank about it, right? There's a bunch we don't know, but it's Hassan, so he's the kind of guy who would be like, he's very hardline in his opinions. It would make sense that he would have an opinion like that, right?
Hey,
Actually, you could say it's more alive than ever.
I mean, I guess. I mean, yeah, he was being real disrespectful. I guess when you think about it.
You know, guys, and another thing, I am so tired. Listen, we've made Dr. Disrespects his wife, Dr. Disrespects the law. He comes back as Mr. Respect. Like, we gotta, the jokes are done. They're the same jokes. We all keep making the same jokes. We're not funny. All right. Like, how many times do we all got to say road work ahead? I sure hope it does. Like, we're done. It's done.
I guess when you think about it, he was disrespectful of age of consent laws. So that is like in line.
We don't even know what we're in the discussion. Fucking Christ is on.
This is unfortunate to say the least. This is awful. So
You can't age the consent laws yet. We don't know what are in the conversations. I know it sounds like he's a pedophile, but
appreciate you guys. Thank you for the love you give, and I'll see y'all soon, man.
Okay. All right. So getting back to you, Slasher, you famously had this revelation. I also want to show you another funny moment here. This is, because we're giving.
Got to admit that the quartering and Melanie Mac joining the PDF Defense Force over this isn't the move I expected. Lol, nah, that's totally their move.
yeah, I'm not surprised. The quartering and like the usual suspects immediately went to go defend Dr. Disrespect for some fucking reason. Again, this is one of those things where I'm like, I can't believe this became a political discussion, but all of this is like couched in the faux culture war crap about like, fucking trans bullets in Call of Duty, but they're just like a bug or whatever the fuck. I've conditioned Diesel so well he remembers it on stream too. I've been told to stop making that joke.
Giving you your roses today, okay? On June 28th, 2020, Keemstar tweeted, Slasher, I know why Dr. Disrespect was banned. 21 hours later, Dr. Disrespect, I don't know why I was banned. How does esports reporter claim to know when Doc himself doesn't?
Oh my god. Okay, all right. On Keem's defense, at this point in time, right? Rod is making a baseless claim. I understand why Rod got heat for that tweet at the time. Rod should have put out the article about, the ban at the time and then not elaborated on it at all. But then he went, I know why he's banned, but I can't tell you. And so, of course, he got heat for that. Okay. Right. And like, he's trying to do it as like a gotcha against Keem, but this isn't one of those times where it's a gotcha against Keem. There's a lot of things that gotcha on Keem. Okay. I've seen things from Keem personally that I look at and I go, you must be like an idiot. Like,
no. To which you, quote, retweeted and said, Keemstar has been falsely accusing and harassing a woman for 3 years regarding Dr. Disrespect. Keemstar does no original reporting, has no sources, and speculates on fake bullshit. Don't listen to Keemstar. Doc's tweet does not...
That's also not true either. I can tell you that that's not true, right? Keemstar has been falsely accused and harassing a woman for 3 years regarding Dr. Disrespect. I don't know what that's in reference to, so I'm not going to comment on that. Keemstar has done original reporting in the past. I will say he's done that. I'll give him that much credit. Has no original sources is a lie. He definitely does. Speculates on fake bullshit. He does that. He does that all the fucking time. Don't listen to Keemstar. Doc's tweet does not refute what I've reported. So Rod knew why he was banned, but Dr. Disrespect didn't, which was a complete lie in hindsight from the Doc. Doc knew why he was banned at the time and chose not to say anything. So Keem probably didn't have a connect with Dr. Disrespect, which is why he got to that point. But yeah.
refute what I have reported.
Okay. Part of the reason why I want to come on here is to say that there are some details that were not included in Cecilia's report that I have. And I am currently working on my own report, which I will not tell you, unfortunately, Hassan, that I need to get through in a written form that can clarify some extra things that I think people are holding on to in terms of a defense of what is happening, and I believe it will.
I don't care if
shed even more
Keemstar gets
light.
semi-trucked on the road. go touch grass. Go outside and kiss a puppy and work a day at the soup kitchen. You need to go to community service. Jesus Christ.
Into the situation as an ancillary information in terms of all of this.
This motherfucker 4 years, bro. You did this 4 years ago, Slasher. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just some additional information here. Okay. And there also are other non-minor women that have been wrapped up into this entire situation, which is why I referenced when Keemstar has been harassing other women. There were other women that were harassed in this whole thing that were just all of this was about protecting the victim. Okay. That is why Twitch has never said anything. They will never say anything, not just about this case, but any of the other sexual misconduct, harassment, or assault cases that have ever happened on this platform, whether it's Method Josh or Hashinshin or Doc or anyone else. Twitch and other tech companies, the responsibility of trust and safety and the legal and law enforcement employees that work for these companies, they are to protect the victim. They're to make sure the victims are anonymous and to make sure the victims are safe. The only reason we know about certain other cases is because those victims came forward. The victim never wanted to come forward or be involved in this situation. That is why Twitch had never said anything, and they will continue to never say anything. I and other journalists are.
It's something. These tech companies, when stuff like this happens, I get why they don't want to say anything, right? Because all of a sudden you say something about something like this, and then Congress appears at your office and goes, "Hey, what's with all this sexual assault stuff going on? We have constituents and people we got to care about, right?" And that'll scare them, right? So that's why they don't say anything about it, right? Yeah, it is to protect them that they don't say anything, right? It is to protect them. It is not to protect the victim. That is a
certified hood classic.
I'm late because I'm 20 minutes behind in stream, but proof that you can crush a watermelon or I won't believe you ever again. Smiley face.
Great, now I gotta go buy a fucking watermelon. I will buy a watermelon. Yeah, but the whole, like, couching is like, this is to protect somebody, blah, blah, blah. Like, I am not like fully of that belief and camp. Companies only do stuff when people like government shows up at their doorstep and goes, "Hey man, what's with all this like radicalizing you're doing? Or what's with all this like crazy shit that you're collecting," right? Like, "Hey, we got all these fucking leaks saying that you're collecting every single bit of information about everybody. What's going on here?" Right? So it at a certain point you gotta go, okay, like, I get why it could be to protect the victim, but I find that a little bit skeptical. Okay.
Situation where, yeah, of course we don't want this to happen to anyone else, but in a reporting fashion, we are unable to get something over the line until people are willing to speak. And really, this would not have happened if Cody did not make that tweet. I have known Cody, full disclosure, I have known Cody for 15 years. We are good friends. We worked together as journalists at CBS Interactive GameSpot before he ever joined Twitch. And, you know, he is a very upstanding individual. I can say that there is no NDA and that he really he walked his dog, came home and said, "Fuck it, we'll do it live," and made the tweet. There is actually,
you know, and like, I get that, and Cody doing that, I honestly is probably a good thing rather than a bad thing, assuming that Doc isn't being like set up here, right? But what's stressful and what's frustrating about Cody is that Cody was using it as like a marketing thing for his own personal shit for a long time, and that's like fucked, right? So it's like, okay, I get it. At the end of the day, like, you came through, but like, you were like, you even hear from Slasher right now. Cody was a journalist at a point in time before working at Twitch. But what? He didn't have the ethos. He didn't have the. I don't know how to explain it, but he didn't have the heart of a journalist to say that anytime soon. He was like putting it behind a paywall for people who are in a need to know basis. That's fucked, you know? Yeah, journalist, GameSpot, and Twitch in the same sentence is hilarious. Yeah, it's not then. And this is what I mean. It's like games journalism is a really bad industry with really bad journalists. Okay, and this is an example of that, where this guy used it for his own personal marketing for years instead of doing anything about it. Right? So, I don't think that would have happened if you were a guy who worked at like Forbes or New York Times. I think the editorial staff is a lot stronger there, and they're a lot more going to go with their guns, and they also have the bread in the bank to defend against frivolous lawsuits against those kind of things.
No, like, contractual reason why this happened. It is left ambiguous about what his tweet even means to this day anyway, just for legal reasons. And if that tweet did not happen, primary sources and a certain document which I have received and other journalists have received that is floating out there would not have been revealed without the tweet. If Cody did not just decide to go fuck it, then no one would have spoken, because it is still the priority for employees to protect the victim. That is all they care about. They do not care about people farming clicks on Twitter. They don't care about YouTube videos.
And like the protect the employees angle and all that stuff is I find that very skeptical, and I think that's not. I don't like that position that Rod is speaking from at all. I think, me personally, listen, I understand some people would come here and say, like, oh, Diesel, you're a drama frog, drama Andy, like, you have no integrity, blah, 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 blah. Like, everybody is like, say some fucking dumb shit about me. I have a personal compass that I use to dictate my actions, right? And I would argue that this is like you're bootlicking. Like, this is bootlicking. To me, this is bootlicking. Okay? That's 100%. That's what it feels like to me. And I do not like that at all. 100% don't like that at all.
They don't.
I don't fuck with that vibe at all. Period. Here's the thing. One thing about, if Keemstar knew about this, we would have been having this conversation 4 years ago, because Keemstar can't keep his fucking mouth shut. I will say that, right? Because Keemstar doesn't give a shit what other people have to say or think. He would have just thrown it out there, right? He wouldn't have sat on it for 4 years.
Any of the streamers like you, Hassan, it's now about getting views or doing content or any of this shit. To them, it is
and Fauci, you bring up a really good point. Unfortunately, for something like Games Journo, you depend on how much of a company likes you. Company/tech journo have that gray area. Yeah, so you gotta maintain like good relations with all those companies. So, I do think we're in a really good position right now for games journalism. YouTubers are a place of independence where they don't have to do that, right? They're not beholden to those things the way that people at like Kotaku are, right? I think we could get a lot more of that now. Places like Substack, we could get a lot more of that. And it's very frustrating that so much of the old school games industry attitude still follows, because I really do think it's a huge problem. I think the games industry as a whole would be better if much of game journalism died and a lot of those people went into other industries that weren't journalism, because they clearly aren't passionate about it.
Very serious matter, especially since it's regarding a minor. It's extra incredibly serious, and all they care about is protecting the victim, being anonymous, and so they do not induce any more trauma. And that is why this situation has happened this way.
Yeah, I don't think Cody's tweet, I don't think he sat there and thought the way you're portraying it, it's not like he sat there a long time and then was like, oh, this might affect the victim, but I think I need to say it. I think I need to say it now after 4 years. Well, the fucking kid's an adult now. Like, Shit.
Indicative of many situations which you just will not find out. If the victim does not say anything, this specific case has a lot of extraneous circumstances around it, which is why we've gotten to this point. But in general, like it is not the public's duty to know all this information.
Yeah, it's not the public's duty to know all this information, but I think as a journalist, you operate kind of like, okay, so like one thing that they teach you, right? Because I took a lot of film classes, but I also took a lot of journalism classes, right? You know, they kind of instill the values of golden age journalism, which you're long past that, by the way. We're in like the dark ages. You know, there's like an information glut of like pointless nonsense. You know, the way they say it is like, you're the grassroots fourth branch of like government that speaks truth to power. The powers in this case being government, but also being the companies that exist, of which many of these are the companies: Blizzard, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter. All those companies that you need to maintain good ties with also happen to be the same companies that you should be sticking it to when they do something bad. But what happened is a lot of journalism relies on those interpersonal sources. So you gotta walk this tightrope of doing journalism while also not fucking people over. So for example, I'm going to do an I'm Alex video on the main channel. That video will... I've talked to a lot of people that I could say that I love. You know, and in this case, those people kind of end up as sources. So it's a matter of me trying to manage those personal relations while also making sure that I do good work. And that's hard. But I understand that's hard, and I plan to do a good job, right? And I don't plan to sit on the things that I know, right? The issue is where you look at that and you weigh it on the scales and you go, yeah, well, I need to be good friends with Twitch because I want to make sure I get into TwitchCon. And so something that might have been like corporate malfeasance on Twitch's part, you go, I won't deal with that because I need to make sure I stay good with them. So that way I could get my interview with Pokimane later this year. So that way I could talk to the Twitch CEO in a fluff piece interview later on that'll further my career. And that's hard, right? These companies are in a position now where they can gatekeep like journalism because journalists rely on that connection. Media companies' monopoly. Media companies' monopoly has led to the stunting of tech/games journalism expose. Yeah. Yeah. Journalism is all just one huge conflict of interest, it seems. It's all about managing your relationships with people and knowing what needs, like, I would argue that Dr.Disrespect and that became so much of a public discourse that it became public discourse. So journalists have a duty to share that information with people, right? Journalists should basically be a reality check for companies and government that when they do big bad. Yeah. Yeah, you balance the personal conflicts that you have between people to try and do the best job possible, right? And it's hard. Like, and I've said it before, and I constantly use the Yandere Dev. I hope the Yandere Dev isn't like my peak of my career, but you, like, I would talk to Yandere Dev, and I talked a while, right? And we would have conversations about like video games we like or like stuff we enjoy doing, right? Diesel, would you consider covering things outside the YouTube sphere, like random things happening in the world? I wanted to be a war reporter a long time ago, Rena. I wanted to like go to places that were dangerous or like untalked about, places that people forgot, and do documentaries on them. But we don't always get what we want, so I'm comfortable doing what I'm doing now. But I wish I was doing that. The thing is, Diesel, those connections have always been there. The problem is they began to bend too much. Yeah. Yonder being your peak would be so sad. But like, so for example, I would say that I got pretty close to the fucking guy that I was going to screw over, and I knew from the second I started that story I was going to screw this guy over later. And I got to know him, and I'm like, okay, he did something really fucking bad. But like, fuck, dude, he's not like, I enjoyed his company. Like he did something shitty. In my opinion, he is guilty. In my opinion, he's a piece of shit. But then there was a part of me that was like, fuck, I could have seen being friends with you. Like, fuck. And that's really hard. And it was easy to make a decision there because the scale was this guy talked dirty with a minor versus he's kind of nice. So it was easy. But sometimes it's not so easy, right? Sometimes it's not so easy. Like, I've gotten to know people in the Illuminati story. I probably wouldn't fuck over Oz. I do appreciate Oz's company. I think Oz is a cool person. But like, I've learned things about the Illuminati story I can't share now. And I would like to put those things in a piece of journalism later. But I also care about Oz, and I care about him enough that I'm weighing it, and I go, well, let me just wait and see what happens, right? But I know things, but I can't say it.
It can be the duty of journalists like myself and Cecilia to try to do good work while respecting the victim and trying to get information out to the public at the same time. But sources are under no they are now no obligation to speak to journalists and to do anything. Their obligation is always for the victims in these situations.
And another thing, and maybe I'm like waxing philosophical about journalism. Maybe I'm being a bit too like, I'm having like wanderlust for a time I didn't live in, right? And I always like reference guys like Hunter S. Thompson, you know, the great gonzos, right? Like, there used to be like a sense of edge, right? It used to be cool to be a journalist, right? And all of a sudden, now it's like you're a corporate stooge. You know what I mean? And it's very frustrating to me. But that's just like a personal feeling, right?
That type of context out there, because most people...
Have you seen this email going around,
yes,
by the way?
I can say it is 100% fake bullshit, just like everything else. Stop fucking believing everything you read on the internet, okay? A primary source says, literally in quotes, LOL in capital letters, this is complete bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
It's like, it seems like when something seems too good
You're not
to be
a stooge,
true,
Diesel.
beyond...
I know I'm not a stooge. I'm saying Slasher's a stooge.
The fact, like, you have to, even if you're like the doc's biggest dick rider, okay? For those of you who are in here, who are like, oh man, what's this fucking piece of shit socialist commie fucking asshole gonna say about my favorite content creator? Like,
that's how I am 90% of the time with you, Hassan, okay? And 90% of the time I am correct, but you know, whatever.
Apply the smell test a little bit, especially in the wake of Dr. Disrespect himself openly admitting what he did. Okay?
He's not a stooge, he's a
When
goon.
people just like immediately jump to that conclusion. And
yeah,
go,
I don't.
Oh, yeah, they actually banned him.
I like the information that Slasher is sharing. I like that he shut this down, but I also don't fuck with his vibe at all. I don't fuck with his vibe at all. I fucking dislike his vibe quite a bit.
Because they hate him. Like I'm sending this to multiple known sources in the gaming news arena. Here's what actually happened, but cannot be said publicly. Whispers between guy and a 17-year-old Twitch. The age was
Been
not
saying for years that real journalism died when the fairness doctrine was killed.
Testing methods, like he had a perfectly innocent conversation with a 17-year-old, which conveniently Dr. Disrespect did not actually mention when he was trying to defend himself. Like, that's so fucking stupid. You have to be.
By the way, Hassan, you're not fucking helping. Even you entertaining this dumb bullshit.
No,
I know, but even you.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to bring it up on stream, because it's entertaining like fake bullshit.
so to speak, debunking the thing is not helping. It
The
shouldn't
first
even
thing-
be
the
given.
first thing I did when someone sent this to me-
He's getting fucking destroyed. No.
It was immediately go, that's fucking bullshit. Number one. Number two, this is a larger conversation about media literacy. I need people to personally also...
Don't you try and talk to the journalists about media literacy. Okay, listen, Hassan, I'm sorry, buddy. Okay, I'm sorry, but the Houthi rebels aren't gonna blow up a United States super carrier. It's not gonna happen. Yeah, slasher win.
On top of that, not repeat the mistakes that they've made. As a political commentator, my job is...
As a political commentator, okay, let me tell you what a political commentator does, guys. Right? You know what Tucker Carlson does, and I believe I'm quoting like a fucking Fox News executive. They were like, we make news for people ages 45 to dying, right? They're really fucked up. There's a fucked up way to say it, right? But they know who they're targeting, right? And when Tucker Carlson was with Fox News, don't get me wrong, so there were leaks. Tucker Carlson had he didn't like certain things about Trump, and he was annoyed that the executives wanted him to entertain that because it was good for their core audience base. And those had leaked a while ago. But what he did on the show is he presented opinions as news for a group of people that were going to agree with him, right? So it becomes like an insular thing. Hassan is that, but for ages 14 to whenever they buy property or to whenever their income reaches a threshold where they don't have time to pay attention to them, right? So after a certain point, they're just not going to. But he makes news for that, so the opinions are going to be based around that, right? Because he's a pundit, okay? Right? Political commentator is a nice way of putting it, but he's just a pundit with opinions of a certain political persuasion, right? It's not news. When you go to Hassan, you're watching opinion, not news. You're watching opinion, which is why it's very frustrating every time Hassan gets a streamy for news, because it's not news, it's political punditry, okay?
Most part, educating people on how to fucking look at Twitter.
Ages
and how to look at
14 to
information
Arbiter.
and process it. That's why I'm...
Okay, so media, and let's talk about media literacy, right? As somebody who unfortunately's degree is all about media literacy. That's a dumb shit degree. He needs to get back on a treadmill so I can watch the chest go boing, boing, boing. His chest is looking pretty full still, I'll say that. Who the fuck getting property right now? Yeah, that's why I changed my opinion to when your income reaches a threshold where you don't care anymore. Fuck, what was I gonna say? Shit. Oh, media literacy. Okay, so people talk about like, okay, you need to be able to read through things to understand and dissect information. The problem with that these days, and what makes media literacy the issue, is that there's so much information, it's difficult to discern what is useful versus nonsense, right? Allow me to kind of pause. Can you get a walking pad so you can go boing, boing, boing? Right, so, and allow me to, sorry, I'm going to pull the worst pseudo-intellectual point right now out my ass, but the concept, which if you ever play Metal Gear Solid 2, the AI in it, yeah, Hideo Kojima predicted this. How'd you know I was going to say that? We are at a point in the world where information is so vast and there's so much happening all the time that a lot of it is just noise that is pointless, right? A lot of it is nonsense news. So what the AI and Metal Gear Solid 2 are doing are determining context. So they're taking all that information that's useless junk and they're skimming it down to what's important, to what human history should be, as they are a secret society that controls everything, right? Now, obviously, that's a conspiracy theory, but the idea is that because there's so much history happening all the time and 99.999% of it is useless, somebody, whomever, a secret shadow organization, the companies, the powers that be, whoever, right, needs to decide what is worth remembering, right? But because of that, it's taking agency away from people, right? It is trying to make a deterministic view of others. So the argument that Snake and Raiden are proposing is that, oh, our genes, in this case, memes and genes are kind of like the same thing. Our memes, so like the cultural context of things that we share, which kind of act as like a social construct thread of what history is, right? So those things kind of work as like the building blocks of our history. Our genes are the building blocks of our biology, which are supposed to determine what are the thresholds of what we can and can't be, right? Like Solid Snake was always going to be destined to be a quote unquote inferior clone of Liquid, right? But he ended up rising above his genes to determine his own destiny, right? So the entire argument is about whether or not these things can control people and whether or not they do determine us as people, right? Memes are a genetic code of culture, yes. Memes, Jack, the DNA of the soul. And I understand, I understand that this is like, Diesel, are you fucking schizophrenic right now? What are you talking about? The idea that I'm trying to impart upon to you is that it is difficult for any one person to get online and say, well, you gotta have media literacy and be able to look at things critically. Well, it's physically impossible to look at everything critically, right? It's hard to do that because it's just so much of it. It's so vast, right? Solid snakes make their own fate. Yes. Which is why at the end of Phantom Pain, it kind of ties back to you, the player, in saying you carried a legend. You make your own destiny. You.
Diesel, remember what De Gallu said?
Diesel, did you know that you're related to Monsoon? All right, I think that's enough of that. I think it was useful to know or hear the opinion of the corporate, but kind of sounds like the opposite of the Adam and Eve story. You have the free will to do anything, but most people are controlled by what other people tell them to do. Diesel Solid Snake cosplay win. Oh, and it's actually funny, right? This is actually, and I'm so sorry, we're going on an autistic Metal Gear Solid binge, but this is like the entire series is based around this entire idea, which is why it's interesting, right? Sorry, we're gonna have like a bingo sheet for my streams every time I bring up Metal Gear Solid. It was one of the most formative artistic works for me personally as a person. But Monsoon makes the argument to Raiden.
Yes, you aren't the only one growing up on the killing fields. War is a cool parent, but an effective teacher. Its final lesson is carved deep into the psyche, that this world and all of its people are disease. Free will is a myth. Religion is a joke. We're all pawns controlled by something greater. Memes, the DNA of the soul.
Let's go, chat. It's the off the rails hour of the stream. Right, but it's like these are the things that this is why I don't know about you guys, but it's like hard to measure information these days because of how much there is. I feel like despite history moving on since the Berlin Wall fell and the Cold War ended, I feel like history hasn't moved on. You know what I mean? I still feel like we're there at that time. I know I wasn't alive for it, but I feel like information has increased so verbosely since that time that it's hard to like remember that, right? And notice that history has happened since then. But it's just because there's so much stuff that we can't really discern that. I haven't played Metal Gear Solid. I just know Snake's ass is apparently super thick. He's got a clone with some cursed venom genes. So Liquid Snake actually loses his arm, and then another guy called Revolver Ocelot. Okay, and by the way, if you have the name of an animal in the MGS franchise, you're like a superhero who doesn't live in any nation, right? Nations existed in info deadlock. That sounds like a line that would have been in Metal Gear Solid, but I know it isn't. But it sounds like it would. Bro, we're living in MGS too, but it's the bad ending. Yeah, it's very easy for an unreality to be constructed by us or for us. It doesn't matter. Yeah, which by the way, that's the whole legislation with TikTok thing, right? People are talking like, oh, why does Congress want to ban TikTok? Do they think we're just sitting there and we're praying to Xi Jinping? No, but what happens is that they get people, and they do this. People are paid to post videos or, you know, move the cultural to move the memes, Jack, to a conversation that benefits them, right? So like, let's say, and I'm using an example here, so this isn't actually what's happening, right? And let's say China was going to invade Taiwan. Before China invades Taiwan, what you would want to see, or what would happen, maybe, probably, is that China would start paying creators on all platforms, but they'd use TikTok because they have a higher level of access to the platform. They would start getting people to post things like China was always one large state. Taiwan was always a part of China. They would start trying to move the conversation in a direction that is beneficial to that specific end goal. So that way it was harder for people like the United States government to support a country like Taiwan, which might be militarily at a disadvantage compared to the sheer numbers that China has. You see this a lot on Twitter, especially during the upcoming presidential elections. Yes, actually, I'm going to pull up an example. Let's see if I can find it. The tweets have been making the rounds about this guy talking about the Ukraine war recently. So whether or not I find it is going to be a bit hard. But, oh, I know his Twitter had it. This is such like a schizophrenic break that I'm having from this. I'm so sorry. Okay, here we go. This is an example of the thing I was talking about, right? So this guy is like kind of he's kind of like he's staging himself as like a working class person, right? I don't know if that's necessarily true, right? But you're gonna notice from this video some really weird shit, right? Diesel, would you want Senator Armstrong IRL, yes or no? You know, Senator Armstrong said we're going to make America great again before Donald Trump. So this video is from 1 year ago. Sadly, it's still true. Ukraine is a rump state selling off all of its large state assets to firms like BlackRock to pay for its unwinnable war with Russia. Which, by the way, guys, I talked to some, now this is like a secondhand source, right? So, but I was able to hear like through the grapevine thing about BlackRock, and all that stuff. So I'm going to tell you that now. So BlackRock started funding a bunch of like stocks and firms that are like further causes of LGBTQ issues, right? And they started including that in their portfolios for different things on the stock market. The reason they did that is because they wanted to get wealthy gay people to invest. That was it. That was it. Those are the things that exist. Because BlackRock also owns stocks and related assets to things that are against LGBTQ issues, stuff that conservatives would care about as well. They are just looking to further serve their investors. So I did look into that from the last time that I brought that up. So there you go, right? The whole BlackRock conspiracy thing is like complete bullshit. Because they do it to both because they are looking to get more money. That's it. There are wealthy gay people. There are a lot of wealthy gay people, actually. But this is from the start of the Ukraine war. So I'm going to play this clip. And I swear to God that this is actually interesting. So I understand that this is completely unrelated to Dr. Disrespect, but just stick around.
Ukraine has become a vassal for U.S. power. And the United States does not care about the Ukrainian people, believe it or not. All they care about is American business. That's why we have Secretary of State Antony Blinken admitting that the United States did not listen to Russian security concerns as late as January of 2022 when the war broke out. We have him and other U.S. officials admitting that they will fight to the last Ukrainian. They do not care about the Ukrainians. They will fight to the last one. It doesn't matter. America's going to come out looking great from this. Ukraine will be decimated.
So you're sitting here and I want you to think, okay, what is the purpose of doing this video, right? And this is like a really malicious example of people sharing false information on the internet, right? Because the people that are obviously fighting in the Ukraine war are Ukrainians, right? You got that psyop look to him. He might be getting money under the table, honestly. This might be an example of the type of people who get money under the table.
We are offering up Ukraine to the Russians on a silver platter, and Ukraine will be destroyed. And that is what people like Vaush are saying. That's what they're calling for. Think about who this benefits. American corporations love that Ukraine is getting destroyed right now. Because now American capital can come move in. The IMF can come in now and offer structural adjustment programs to the Ukrainian government, basically putting them in debt.
Okay, so this is a conspiracy theory. The idea is that these international governmental organizations are going to quote unquote control a governing power, right? The idea behind content like this is to get you to not support a cause that you probably should support because it'll be beneficial to the opposition. So in this case, it would be beneficial to Russia if the United States stopped funding military aid to Ukraine. Vaush, yeah, I know. So what happens is that the United States says, okay, well, you know, take debt from us and then we'll rebuild the damage, right? Which, by the way, it is normal for nations to have debt. That is not like bad. Debt between nation states is different than debt that you have to your credit card. Right, but the idea, the purposes behind it is so that way they you call your congressperson and you say, hey, stop doing this. So that way they can get what they want, right? And I say they, I don't mean like they in the analogous sense. I mean like oppositional governments, because they understand that these are tools that are used for war because it's fought on many fronts, right? So this stuff gets used, right? And I watch me tie this back into Dr. Disrespect. Just give me a second.
To the IMF and Western capital in order to build up their country again. And guess who's going to profit from all this? American corporations. We've already seen this with BlackRock. Already, Larry Fink is meeting with Zelensky. They're getting this all set up. Ukraine will become, if it isn't already now, a plantation for American corporations and American capital accumulation.
So the idea behind that is that way Russia can take over and Russia can own it, right? So that way the United States don't own it, which neither own it. And they argue that things like NATO are like an arm of the United States government, which NATO is, the United States is one of its largest members, but they're not the only member. And nations want to join NATO because I don't know why. Maybe it's like they have an aggressive neighbor on their doorstep and they're acting of their own free will. And it's actually not BlackRock coming in and trying to turn all their children gay. But, you know, whatever. But, you know, we have things like Dr. Disrespect's email that are being released by people, right, to help Dr. Disrespect's position, right, with the intention of, now, some of these people could have something to gain, like the guy who originally posted that email that is a complete fictitious bullshit. He could possibly gain something from that by writing or sticking with Doc, right? Now, whether or not that is the case, I don't know. But the point of media literacy is that unless I sat here and I just told you that everything here, like, was just weird bullshit, you would be sitting here going, man, it sounds real to me, right? He's talking confidently. He's talking at you. He's looking at you in the eye. That's enough for you to believe what he says, right? What's confusing is why is Ukraine only considering to join NATO now, even though Russia took control of Croatia when I was a babe years ago? Okay, so there was a few things for a while, and I might be truncating history, so please don't take this as absolute fact. Diesel bringing it back. I know, and I'm about to take it away again. But that's a interesting question, and I want to answer it. And again, you know, don't take it as 100% fact. So for a minute after the post-Soviet collapse, there was a lot of instability. And what had ended up happening is that even though the USSR was gone, there were a lot of these states that ended up as kind of like vassal states of the Eastern Bloc, right? Look at the Dr. Disrespect thread. You want to go back to the topic? Right. So there were leaders in power in Ukraine at a prior time that were more sympathetic to the Eastern Bloc, and I'm using Eastern Bloc as like an example because it's like the Soviet word, or not the Soviet word, but like the Soviet language from the Cold War, right? You'd probably say, yeah, like the Russia, China, Iran bloc of power. So there was a lot of that, and then what happened is that there was a revolution during an election. So that election happened, and basically the pro-Russian leaders in Ukraine got deposed and replaced with pro-Ukrainian and pro-Western individuals, and as such, they started to going, hey, maybe we want to be in the European Union. Maybe we want to adopt some of those policies from the West. Maybe we want to do that. And so the NATO discussion came up from that. But what ended up happening is that Ukraine had border disputes in the east of the country, which had been going on for a while, where people said that they were ethnically Russian, and so there had been conflict there for a bit. And then eventually the little green men invaded and took over Crimea, to which Russia, with no pushback from any other nation, took over the island of Crimea and annexed it into Russia, right? Will this information be on the test? So I'll stop. I'm sorry. This stuff interests me. It's like a personal hobby. Like I said, like Rena asked earlier, there was a time period in my life when I wanted to be a war reporter. I wanted to be a war journalist. But now I just sit in front of my fucking computer, so Yeah, I knew you meant Crimea. I'm reading the messages from when my stream went down earlier. You watch Jake, bro. He does a really good analysis of the Ukraine war. Am I confusing him with a different white guy? Yeah, I was. Jake is okay. I feel like he's a little bit, and trust me, I am like on the side of Ukraine, but I kind of felt like Jake was a little like he was a little less like his reporting wasn't super like astounding. A new allegation has hit the dock towers. Fuck me, dude. Literally while I was streaming. Are you fucking kidding me? There's a few. Destiny has a podcast called Bridges, and he had a pretty interesting guy on there. He had Chris Cappy on, which I mean, you know, take what you will about Chris Cappy, but his was good. It was interesting to hear his takes about things like you know, what it was like to be a soldier in Iraq. This guy Ryan Macbeth, that was a pretty good episode that Destiny did. But yeah. Anyway, let's look at that disrespect allegation. Let's see. Were there whisper blah blah blah? So there's Dexerto reporting on it, right? I'm a paid actor from Big FPS Diesel to skid some posts and make chat funnier. Now spam some keys again. Oh my god. Guys, what if we trick Diesel into talking about what he enjoys by constantly sidetracking him? Tell me more about geopolitics of the Middle East. Thanks, chat. Thanks. During that time in 2017 when he was cheating on his wife with not only me, a trans sex worker, but also other women, and texting a minor, he was exploiting me by making him give him cam shows with the promise of a partnership. After the cam shows, he went ahead and blocked me. Wait. Okay. Oh, stop it. Hi, doctor. How are you? Photo shoot tomorrow. So nervous. Well, well, well. Good luck. I'm gonna try and get ready get some sexy cosplay images. Then after I can punish you. Oh yeah, how so? Don't know. Have to get a good strategy. We shall see. Ha, still waiting. Yeah, I'll think of one soon. Overwhelmed, packing for tomorrow. Not sure. Smooth black leather or latex. I don't know. Nice. Feel like releasing one right now. Yummy. Should I let it go or hold on? Let it go. Spray it out. No. Will I look like a psychopath if I say skill issue on her part? I need something. What do you need, Doc? I'm sure you have all the e-girls ready to serve you. Lol, no. Yeah, actually, yeah. Lies, uh-huh. No way. You gonna watch my explosive intro? The goddess must be worshipped from head to toe before you can explode. No, not the volcano. Can we get some volcanoes in chat? Shout out to little buddy. Shout out to Pink Buddy. Shout out to Pink Buddy. We need like a Pink Buddy emote. He's gonna blow. Watch out. Tongue sticking out emoticon. Hi, hon. How are you? Daddy, you need to shout me out and spoil me. Thank you. Just added you on Snap. Add me on Snapchat. Username blocked out. Miss you, Doc. Thanks for unfollowing, stranger. Are you going to PAX East? Damn, bro. Bro got ghosted. Dr. Disrespect. Had to watch this one more time. I tried to snap you. Did you delete your account? Yes. Oh, okay. Feels bad. Is this a minor? No, this one was an adult actress of adult persuasions. Sorry. I will try to vid chat you soon. Headed to the gym. Gotta get fat. Gotta get fit. But don't want to be a stranger. Message me sometime. Got some photos sent your way. I mean, I'm gripping now. Boom. Nice firm grips while I worked out. Yum. Hey, love. Do you know anyone you're close with that could see if they could get me a Twitch partnership? This chickadee was... Okay, listen. Here's what I think. Hold on, let's see how she words it before I give an opinion on this. I'm tried. They're pretty locked down right now, focusing on popular games and impact of streamers on those games, unfortunately. And then kind of stop playing games, doing blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. When he was cheating on his wife with a trans sex worker, but also another woman and texting a minor, he was exploiting me by making him give him cam shows with the promise of partnership. Wait a second. Hold on. Hold on, lady. It kind of reads like from these messages that you were consensually having like e-sex with him. And now, like, after that, like the way that this... it kind of sounds like she had like initiated having like e-sex and like cheating on his wife with him. And then later on in their relationship was asking for a fucking partnership on Twitch. Like I right? Am I stupid in thinking that? Right? He was exploiting me. No, bitch. You were trying to pull one over on him. That's what that reads like, right? Because the conversations start and then she asks. Yeah, so it's more to me like she was the one wanting the partnership. He was like, not once in those messages did he say, if you give me your butthole pictures, I'll make sure you get partnership on Twitch. It was always, I'm giving you butthole pictures. Are you going to give me partnership on Twitch? Like, that's what it is. Yeah, it depends on who brought up the partnership first. Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, wait, I'm like lost in my chat. Yeah, it seems mutual. It's more funny of how much of a coomer he is. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, okay, if you're an idiot, you'll like believe this. But like reading this is not, it doesn't look good for her at all. By the way, now I know that Rod Slasher, I know a gooner when I see one, and you, my friend, you're a gooner, but so it's not surprising that you follow this individual, but who follows the Rod? Yeah, based on what's leaked. Oh my god, AI. No, AI is wrong. Oh my god, the AI summary is wrong. Yeah, it makes them look both bad, honestly. Yeah, 100%. That's fucking funny. Not surprised. Not surprised. We're probably gonna see more of those. I don't think it's ended here. Yeah, that AI summary is... AI summary sucks, by the way. Holy shit. AI chat summary should be how we want Diesel to get a watermelon. Can we everybody talk about how you want me to get a watermelon and squeeze it between my thighs so we can get the AI chat summary to change? Come on, I need it like spam. We need to spam it. So I just found out from earlier that me making which by the way I said in Minecraft, but the Dr. Dick writers in chat. The Dr. Dick writers in chat, one of them was like, "It's okay, Camp. He'll get banned now. Just told you to jump off a bridge in Minecraft." And even called you a pedo too. Reported. Moving on in Minecraft, by the way, but whatever. Oh my god, no fucking way.
I'll post it, but AI is accusing you of soliciting a minor, Diesel. Blue heart.
Oh my god, no. AI chat summary, dude. That elderly miner is under attack. Oh no. Oh my god. Don't you guys... I love AI. I'm a huge AI fan. AI is great, guys. AI is great. Big fan of AI. Jesus Christ. We did it right. Thank you, Rena. Oh. And now that we've changed it, I'm ending stream. I want to get out of here and chillax and all that. So let me do that. But yes. Take care, chat. Be well. Be good. Don't be cringe.